Hey, what's up, fam? Wild week for Black Clover. Everything kind of set up had me like early on thinking how the chapter was going to go, and then a complete 180. Complete 180 around. So it obviously starts out all the characters are talking to each other. You get to see some nice interactions. Noelle trying to brag about her really cool new magic, while at the same time you see her like her thought bubble talking about how even though she's acting brave, she's very lonely and scared, and she's glad to have her friends around with her. While Asta's doing his thing, he's so impressed by her magic, and Magnus just mad that that she's bragging of it. Though I don't know, it's weird. I like Magnus his hairstyle, the way he always has it, because it's very identifying for him, but he looks a lot cooler with it down. But I like the idea of it inward towards battle. He gets his, takes some damage, his hair comes down. He has that cooler look on his face than his absurd, like, street punk look. But otherwise, you see, like, Zora completely just bewildered by the large black bull base, and Noel's just like, yeah, I don't know. I don't even know if I'm surprised that they have a giant bull mech. It just seems to be kind of the standard now for ridiculous things just to be happening. While the elves are kind of going on the attack. You get all these like no-name elves. No one I think important or noteworthy within that whole bit. I think the only one that I can see that I even remember mostly is the one that's the elf from the guy that has glass magic. I don't even remember what magic order he's in. I'm sure these ones are, you can kind of make out names if you go back, but there's definitely some no-name elves in there as well. While you see the combination of the defenses that the group has, you have Lux, a high sense magic. All right, he figure out exactly where they are. He figures out what kind of magic they're using, and then they can counterattack with the best solution, best elemental counter to whatever it is they're coming at us. Any attacks, you got Vanessa's fate manipulation, you got Charmy's mana recovery to keep people up so they can, keep the attack on rise, while Henry throws, these big ass attacks out, knocks out these elves. Obviously with Henry is captain level, but his whole like sickness makes him super weak in that regard, but the way that they have this combination right now, it definitely is keeping him up. If he's always with Charmy, he should be much more of a threat, much more of a really good just home defense, and in this case, teleported like onslaught Hulk monster to fight him off. But because when I was saying like when you're reading the chapter, I was like, all right, this will be a chapter of them just kind of putting up some of the offense, and the next chapter some of the bigger elves will come by. But right when I like started to think that, you see you see Patriot like, okay, these guys are a little bit of a troublesome, especially Vanessa's fate manipulation with Rouge, but then the elf that they're calling Rave, who I figured was going to be when I saw her robe, was the elf that took over Dorothy's body. So, people pointed out last week that the elves got Dorothy when they saw a close up of all of the followers of Saphira, and you see one with the witch hat that, nodded over looking asleep. And like, oh crap, it's Dorothy. They got, how many captains did they get? And that's one of the things I've just like, I don't know how they're gonna pull out of this, because even though the big bull looks intimidating, when you see one of the one of the Saphira follower elves is just like, yeah, that thing's not really much of a big deal, especially with when we finally see Dorothy's magic, well, especially enhanced, but just like the base level dream magic, where she can pull them into a different realm, and then it just has them in this dream dimension. And I thought it was funny, just it really just kind of sits as another reference to Berserk when you think about how much Tabata loves Berserk. It's definitely, I always forget how to pronounce her name, Shriek, Shulk, or the little witch that hangs out with Guts and is able to go into heads and stuff and use her magic to try to save him. You definitely get that feel out of her with with Dorothy, and I think that's kind of cool when I think about it now, because before I was just like, okay, she's sleeping. Her name's Dorothy. She's a witch. Maybe it's a it's big nod to the Wizard of Oz, but definitely with this, definitely seems like a combination of that with the character from Berserk, and I thought that was pretty badass, as well as the elf that took over gosh, I think his name was Droit or something, some weird name. I don't know if I've seen the official translations. I've only seen the fan ones. And he's just some big like enhanced version of uh of one of his mirror spells combined with Patry's magic, and he's using his light sword. So they're just shooting these impressive big blades. So I'm actually thinking that maybe his beams aren't normal light speed, because that's what I was saying before. Like they look like they're reflecting off mirror. Maybe they move at light speed like a light attack. But otherwise, why would you need Patriot's combination into it? So I'm guessing he put up the mirrors, and it's just like a normal one of Patriot's like light speed swords, but obviously reflecting it, so you get that a very uh, a very repeated effect of it, and just the way that it's kept bouncing different directions, get a much more enhanced version. And then the chapter kind of ends with the characters who are in the dream world all kind of getting ready to go against this elf named Rave. And I was very interested in the characters going up against it because I read it this morning and then I was reading it again for this review, and I didn't notice actually really who was in there like as a whole. Like I got obviously Vanessa, and I remember Luck and Magna and Charmy, but I did not see Sally, and I think Sally's going to be the wild card here just because of how much of an oddball she is. And she's the only one I can see switching sides when this is all over, probably coming to the Black Bulls, where I don't think Raids will uh, or Valtros. I think Valtros will probably go up and do his own thing. I'm not too sure what Radis will do. Radis or Raids? I'm trying to remember the official translation. I'm pretty sure it's Radis. Might be Raids. I don't know. I sometimes you get mixed up when you see like two different scan groups and then the official one. It just takes some time. But otherwise, the notable thing is that Vanessa says how Rouge didn't detect the spell, the dream magic glamour world as a threat. So there's definitely going to be some weirdness to it. And it's actually kind of weird uh, because Henry could say he still senses the part of it, and you could see the magic kind of around it, and he can still recognize it, but he it's not anywhere. It's in its own like little dimension, and that's pretty cool. And you look around, you can see bits of it. You see a peacock actually in the background, probably something to do with Dorothy herself, as well as like a carriage. You get all this really cool stuff. Honestly, I'm super interested in how the combination between Luck, Charmy, Magna, Vanessa, and Sally are. You got Sally, the wild card. You got Luck, he's speed and sensory. You got Magna, who's got like combination and firepower. Charmy's got firepower and support, and Vanessa just she's got high support, but also the fate manipulation. There's a lot of weird stuff that they can do, but it's really going to depend on how crazy uh, Rave is in this whole thing. So that's mostly it for this chapter. Pretty awesome, pretty good display on all parts. You got good defensive strategy on the Black Bulls. You get to see. You actually saw Raz just pissed off at Lick, not even knowing that his name was Patry. Sally being wild. The good interactions between like Yami and Jack, but also someone between like anyone and Noel. Zora is just completely not sure how to make out with this large bull. Anyway, so that's it for this one. I really liked it. Excited for the next chapter. It's gonna be awesome. And tell me what you think about this chapter in the comments below. Comment, tell me how it is. Like the video and thumbs up. Subscribe if you like this kind of content. Check out my other videos. You'll see manga and anime and whatnot. But otherwise, I appreciate those who are already subscribed. And thank you very much for listening. Bye.